again.
Welcome back to the Reverbium podcast. Once again, I am Jimmy.
And I'm Sean.
Thank you very much, Sean. As always,
you got it right. You got it right.
As always, this is a week full of wrestling, so be prepared to start it off with that. Sean's already.
I'm so excited.
He's so excited for it. But there is actually a lot of news, and there was a pay-per-view. There's been a pay-per-view every week for like the past 3-4 weeks, and it's depressing. But
imagine if somebody cared.
You never know, Sean. You never know.
I mean, in the last one, I did tell people to let me know if actually anyone cared, and no one has. So
no one lets us know anything, Sean. No one talks to us, Sean.
Shh.
But our main podcast topic this week will be a bit of not a review, but a bit of a discussion on WandaVision, how we enjoyed it, a bit of a, not really a recap either.
Who said we enjoyed it? You can't say how we enjoyed it.
I said how much we enjoyed it. I said how much we enjoyed it. I didn't say how we enjoyed it.
Okay.
I hope
it sounded like you said how.
I hope I said how much. I hope the mic picked that one up.
It didn't sound like it from my end.
Anyway, wrestling. So shut up, Sean. This week was AEW Revolution, their big January, February-ish pay-per-view that always happens. Well, it was March, but you know what I mean. It happens during the beginning of the year. And it was a show. It was a show that happened. It wasn't a bad show, but we'll get to it. I'm just looking up the card right now, so I actually remember. The pre-show was Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Maki Ito, who is amazing. Sean, you need to look her up on Twitter. Her Twitter game is amazing.
Okay.
She is she's the god of love and piss, and she just calls everyone simps.
Right.
She's great.
Okay.
They defeated Riho and Thunder Rosa. That was on the pre-show. It was an okay match. It was nothing. The best part of it was Maki Ito's surprise entry into the match, because she wasn't initially supposed to be in it. It was meant to be Rebel wrestling.
Oh shit, it's the wrong way around.
You used to fucking watch it. What are you on? Not fake it scripted. Don't trigger people, Sean.
Randy Orton's gonna come after me.
Randy Orton fucking don't start a Twitter war with Randy Orton, you will lose. The first match on the main card was for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, and it put the Young Bucks against the Inner Circle, who Chris Jericho and MJF. Very good match. The Young Bucks retained. I still hate the Young Bucks. We move. Not much else to say about it. It was just a good match. The next one was actually a surprisingly good match, or at least the end was surprisingly good, and it was the Casino Tag Team Royale, which is just a battle royale with tag teams, and usually they're average as fuck, but this one was really good for the last 5 minutes, which saw Rey Fenix win after throwing out Jungle Boy to earn Death Triangle a shot at the tag team titles. And it was an awesome match, especially towards the end. Again, nothing else to say. They'll get a future tag team shot. So moving on, we have Hikaru Shida against Ryumizunami, who won the AEW Women's Championship tournament to get a match against her. Hikaru Shida successfully defeated her. Again, it was another okay match. It was decent. I have nothing much to say about it. It was a hard-hitting affair, probably one of the most hard-hitting matches on the show. I apologise for Sean's camera going black and going back for some reason constantly. I don't know why that's happening, but I don't think he realised. It's fine. Your camera was doing some weird stuff. But I'm just continuing.
So it wasn't doing anything from my end.
No,
okay.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Fifth match on the show was Miro and Kip Sabian defeating the best friends of Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. It was Miro should be doing more. But that they seemingly going to run this back at another time. That's fine. Hangman Adam Page took on Big Money Matt Hardy next as well, where the winner would receive the losers 2021 first quarter earnings so far. Adam Page won after I think the Dark Order came out and helped him defeat Matt Hardy after Private Party tried to stop him. So yeah, a pretty good match. Again, it was just okay. It was one of the matches that, while the people in it were good, it was kind of a filler match, but it wasn't bad. The next match was a really good one in my opinion, which was the Face of the Revolution ladder match, which the winner would win an AEW TNT Championship match the following week, which has already happened, and I'll bring it up after I say who wins. But the match included Cody Rhodes, Penta Zero Miedo, Lance Archer, Max Caster, Scorpio Sky, and the surprise appearance of newly signed Ethan Page, which was good. He was in Impact Wrestling before, which is funny because he's gone to AEW, who now have a partnership with Impact Wrestling. So, you can never quite leave. Scorpio Sky picked up the win, and he actually faced Darby Allin for the title on AEW and lost this week. Spoiler alert, obviously. But and then he turned heel, like fully heel, and attacked Darby Allin. So yeah, he probably might get another shot at the title later on. Next up, we have the big surprise. Who was the big announcement? Secret Hall of Famer level talent that AEW were going to bring out, and it was Christian Cage, or just Christian from WWE or Impact from back in the day. Most people will probably know Christian if they know anything about wrestling, or a follower. But he was in the Royal Rumble at the beginning of the year. He was one of the last participants in the Rumble as well, so it was a big surprise that he went over to AEW. But yeah, a nice signing for them, and it's good that he's come out of retirement, just like Edge is doing for WWE. The 8th match on the show, or penultimate match on the show, was a cinematic street fight between Darby Allin and Sting, who defeated Team Taz, consisting of Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, with some interferences from Hook and Powerhouse Hobbs. Awesome match, really well shot. The commentary over the match was a bit odd. I'm not a massive fan of that, but the match itself was really cool. They did a lot with the cinematic stuff, and it was Sting's first match since, I think, retiring after Seth Rollins nearly killed him. So it's about 5 years since that happened. So yeah, we'll move on to the big thing, the big match. Kenny Omega against Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship inside an exploding barbed wire death match. The match itself was excellent. I thought it was a really fun match, really cool, up until the Good Brothers came out, and the match sort of lost its momentum. Omega picked up the win by nefarious means, but the countdown didn't stop, Sean. The countdown was still going. There's going to be a big explosion. Jon Moxley's going to die in the ring. It was Eddie Kingston came out, covered Jon Moxley to try and save his friend. It's a face turn. He's turning face. 3, 2, 1. Some kids walk by with some sparklers or something like that, and basically it was shit. The explosion was shit. It was terrible, but they sold it like they died. Like, Eddie Kingston sold it like he was dead. Commentary sold it. Well, they didn't. I can excuse commentary a little bit, but they sold it a bit like it was a big explosion. It wasn't. And I was going to shit on this more until yesterday, when, or last night I should probably say, when they pretty much saved themselves. Where Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley cut a promo on AEW Dynamite, basically saying that, well, I mean, Jon Moxley did say after the show to the people that were in the crowd that Kenny Omega can't build a exploding ring for shit, which was funny, but it didn't exactly save the angle. But they saved the angle with Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley on Dynamite, where Eddie Kingston basically said he passed out. You know, the last time he'd been in a situation like that, it'd been when he was in a prison lineup or something like that, and he just passed out. They were like, "If you find it embarrassing, whatever." And I thought it was a really good promo. They did really well, and also Kenny Omega and Don Callis and all of them boys came out and later on said, you know, like did some similar things to sort of cover their asses, and I personally think it really worked. So that's AEW Revolution and Dynamite out the way. The next one is there were two announcements on the WWE side, namely NXT. One was NXT are fed up with WWE's main roster shit and have made their own women's tag team championships now. The first champions are Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, who held the title for 50 minutes until they were beaten by Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. So that was funny. But it looks like Raquel Gonzalez will be going after Io Shirai's women's championship. And that might be happening at NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Woo, sure. Actually, well, I can't. NXT TakeOvers are always really good. Which will be taking place on April 7th and April 8th. So it would be a 2-night event during WrestleMania week. The first night will be on the USA Network in America and probably BT Sport in England. And the second night will be on Peacock or the WWE Network, depending on what country you're in. But yeah, it should be good. We're seemingly getting Karrion Kross versus Finn Balor, which will be a very good match. And yeah, that's pretty much all for the wrestling news, which has taken up 12 minutes of time, which is awesome. I really like that. So we pretty much got the wrestling out of the way. Thought we'd do that first because there was a lot of it. I'm going to also run through some Premier League results just now for this week. On Saturday,
hogging all the limelight this week.
I am hogging all the limelight. That is true. This weekend saw some big results, but I'll start off with some smaller. Well, not a smaller one. Burnley drew with Arsenal 1-1. Southampton got the win over Sheffield United 2-0. Wolves and Aston Villa ended in a 0-0 draw. Leicester City got the win over Brighton after I think going a goal down. So that was interesting. 2-1 that ended. West Brom and Newcastle also a 0-0 draw. Now we get to the big shockers. Fulham defeated Liverpool at home. Liverpool were at home at Anfield and lost their sixth straight.
That's not a shock anymore.
No, well, that's what I was going to get to. Six straight loss.
It's not really a shocker.
They lost 1-0. And Manchester United beat Manchester City at home as well at the Etihad. 2-0, which is also a big shocker, although City are still storming ahead. Tottenham got the dominant win over Crystal Palace 4-1. Chelsea also got a pretty dominant win over Everton 2-0. And West Ham over Leeds 2-0 as well. And we also had one midweek match this week yesterday with Man City again winning 5-2 over Southampton. So they're running away with the league still. Yeah, that's all my Prem results. There's also been some Europa League results out, but I don't have them up right now. The only result I know, because I just watched it and nearly cried at the end, was Manchester United won Milan. AC Milan won. AC Milan got the winning goal, not winning goal, they got the equalising goal in the 91st minute, and Man United did score the first goal, coming off 18-year-old Amad Diallo, which was his first, I think his debut in the Europa League, which is really cool, really nice moment. AC Milan also had 2 goals that were not given. One was because he was miles offside, and the other one was due to a handball, which most people are thinking was light. I think there was a handball in there, but they never really showed a camera angle, so Yeah, I will bring up the other results. Dynamo Kiev lost to Villarreal 2-0. Ajax got a dominant win over Young Boys 3-0. Slavia Prague and Rangers drew 1-1, with Rangers getting the away goal. And the rest of the games are ongoing, so I can't really say anything. They've only just started. So yeah, that's all my football results, and I'm going to let you get onto Formula One and whatever else you've got for sport.
Yeah, so I think I'll start with last week. Obviously, we had the news of Gordon Elliott being under investigation for the photograph. So it was the day after we recorded the podcast, the day it came out. He was issued a 12-month ban from the sport as a trainer, with 6 months of it being suspended, which means that he won't be trained, or his name won't be against any of the horses that he's trained at Cheltenham next week. But licensed local trainer Denise Foster will be taking over his stables, so they'll be running under her name instead. But effectively, all the training work is done now, so it will be Gordon Elliott's, or the ones that have stayed with him. Obviously, I've said last week, a lot of the big names have moved, like Envoy Allen as part of the Jubilee Group. They've split between Willie Mullins and Henry de Bromhead. But basically, all of your Jiggins towns, they'll still be, although not under his name, will be running Alpha Plan. That'll be the same for Aintree as well. Because obviously, a month time, I think it is, month and a bit. Obviously, still be banned there. Oh, sorry, 10th of April. So yeah, a month. Be exactly the same there. With that as well, one of amateur jockeys, Rob James, he's also been banned as well. I believe it's also a year.
Right.
I can't see. But yeah, he's also been banned for, I think it's the same thing.
Fair enough.
But I can't remember. Oh no, I think it's a different situation. Yeah, I think this is. Oh god.
We're developing stories as
different...
we go. Big developments.
Yeah, I think this was a different incident.
I do have to apologise to everyone. We have all our notes and stuff on iPads below because I can't look at the screen because my laptop isn't good enough to do OBS and another thing at the same time. So I've had to read a lot of stuff below, which is a shame, but we move. Anyway, I gave you time. There you go.
Yeah, so it seems like a separate incident, but to be honest, he's an amateur jockey. They're not allowed at Cheltenham anyway this year because of COVID regulations, so he wouldn't have been winning any races. But it does mean that he, obviously, for the time that he's banned, he won't be able to race. But yeah, for the big races, it's not going to make much of a difference in that case. On to my classic. Oh, I probably should have said this actually while we're still on football. Just obviously this week we had Rangers win their first Scottish Premier League title since 2011 after a rollercoaster time where they got sent all the way down to the bottom of Scottish football, have made their way all the way back up, and they've done it.
Yeah,
they've
that
won.
Win came from
they've stopped the reign of Celtic.
That win came from a draw between Celtic and Dundee, I believe, and that is the moment they won the title. So congratulations to Steven
Celtic
Gerrard
needed to win
for actually winning
the weekend
a title. So
legend.
We're back. Sean had technical issues. Go, Sean.
No, we're not. We're not back.
Sean's not back. Sean's dead.
But yeah, so Wacky Low, leaving Germany for about 3 minutes. There was a bit of discussion on whether Klopp would take over, which he quickly shut down, saying that he has his contract to Liverpool. He'll see it out. He's always seen contracts out previously with Dortmund and Mainz, so that'll be no different here. So I'll be interested to see, one, who takes over as a Germany manager. Quite big shoes to fill, to be fair. Lowe has done some great work with the Germany team. Dropped off a bit recently, I think. But I think that's just with the younger players coming through. It's a new squad, pretty much a new squad from what he won the World Cup with a few years ago. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see who takes over and also what he does next, because I can't imagine he'll stay out of managing. Because he's not that old, I don't believe, or not to the point where he'd just step away completely. He's 61, so older than I thought, to be fair. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he goes, because I can't imagine him just completely stepping away from football. He'll probably manage someone else. I'm not sure who. Nothing's been said yet.
Yeah.
But that was, I think, quite a shock, to be fair.
Formula One.
Anyway, on to Formula One. Portimao, the track in Portugal, has been confirmed as the third, what is now the third round for the 2021 season. It was left as a TBC at the start, and everyone thought it was going to be Portimao. They confirmed this week that it was, which is great. It was a great track last year, and one that a lot of people have been asking for quite a while, actually. Basically to change things up, and it produced a good race last year. And then we also, as I've covered for the past few weeks, had our final car liveries announced, which were Williams and Ferrari. If you haven't seen them, if you want to have a look, because one of them is quite funny. Williams being that one.
Williams.
Because it looks like it has the design of like your generic mobile racing game livery.
Okay. Is it?
And it also got leaked.
Blue and white.
As much, yeah, and with a bit of yellow, on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it just looks like
it looks like they're sponsored
default,
by like a mobile or some shit, like some weird.
So it just looks like a default motorsport manager. There we go. That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Livery you can put on a car that's a generic one. The Ferrari one, a lot of people moaning about it because they put green on it this year for one of their sponsors. I can't remember what they're called. But yeah, but as per usual with what's happened, actually they started off all right, and then near the end, a lot of teams end up having their livery spoiled. Happened with both of these. Williams actually, they were supposed to be releasing it as like this app VR situation, and basically the app got hacked, so they had to stop that. So they had to bin off that idea, and they just showed pictures in the end. And then Ferrari's after, quite funnily, after tweeting probably about an hour before the launch, going, "Don't worry, it won't get spoiled or anything." Literally a few minutes later, it got leaked. So, but it does mean we now have all of our liveries perfectly in time for tomorrow for testing to start at Bahrain for the weekend. They had F2 testing during this week. Christian Lundgaard coming out on top there, if anyone's interested in F2. He showed a lot of pace last year, so it'll be interesting to see if he takes that practice pace into the races. Then yeah, Formula One starts this weekend for testing, so it'll be our first chance to see if there's much difference in the cars from last season. I can't imagine there being much, just because very limited change in the rules, and just with timing and funds to get the new cars turned around. Can't see much of a difference. The only main one I can see is Haas will probably be near the back of the grid or further back to the grid. I can see Williams overtaking them this year. As they openly admit, they don't have the money to keep improving the car throughout the season. So we'll probably see them end up last. So it'd be nice to see Williams move up for once. Mm-hmm. And then probably we might see, it might not be as much of a close midfield battle as McLaren now have the Mercedes engine. So, and with Ricciardo as the new driver, they more than likely secured that third position, unless Ferrari can massively overcome their engine issues from last year, where they were way off the pace. But yeah, this will be our first look at how the race is going to turn out. I should imagine Mercedes will be fastest as per usual. The first day is obviously not much to look at because a lot of reserve and test drivers will be driving. It's more the later days. But yeah, soon we'll have the F1 season back and I'll be happy.
Anything else?
No, that's me done for sport.
Okay.
Just all of the late kickoffs in the Europa League are boring. They're all 0-0 at the moment.
Yeah. Well, we'll be moving on to gaming now, which will kick off with EA Gate. I don't know if you've been seeing it on Twitter, if anyone's seen it at all, but there has been a lot of controversy or just talk on Twitter about DMs that were leaked, reportedly showing an EA employee selling icon cards and other cards for Ultimate Team online in the range of like $750 to $1,000, which is crazy. EA themselves had to address this, and their full statement I'll read out here. They said, "We are aware of the allegations currently circulating within our community related to FIFA 21 Ultimate Team items. A thorough investigation is underway, and we identify improper conduct. And if we identify improper conduct, we will take swift action. We want to be clear. This type of behavior is unacceptable, and we in no way condone what is alleged to have happened here. We understand how this creates concern about unfair balance in the game and competition. We will update the community as we get more clarity on the situation." Now we're gonna kind of take personal opinion into this. I don't play Ultimate Team. I played it for 1 year, I think, a few years ago, but it was the most I did. I don't know if you play it or if you have played it in recent years, but I do know that the market in Ultimate Team and the prices for a lot of things is terrible. Right, so this is about the fourth cut in the video now. Sean's camera may have frozen if you saw there, and I was kind of looking there and stumbling. So we're gonna get back to it.
I argue yours froze. Yours froze for
I'm
me.
the one recording. I'm the one recording.
You've got the
so
issues. You've got
okay.
the issues.
All right. Anyway, we're talking about the EA gate. I don't know how much you missed of me talking there.
All of it. I literally didn't hear any of it.
Okay. Well, basically, I read through the statement which I sent to you, and I started to go on over like actual Ultimate Team. Like, I don't know if you've played it or not in recent years, but it has a reputation for being kind of controversial, and EA have actually been to court in the UK, I believe, about their whole, like, for a lot of things where they were like, oh, we like to call them surprise mechanics, not whatever they call packs and stuff. Like, and I get that it's a problem that someone is selling these cards for actual money, but at the same time, there's a bigger problem in the fact that EA themselves are basically letting people gamble their own money away, which is a whole other problem in itself. So for them to say,
so there's two problems. It's that the game mode is flawed anyway, because it's very much pay to win. If you want to do well in it, you have to put money towards it to get the better players, or spend a ridiculous unheard of amount of time to try and earn the coins, which isn't going to happen. And then it is effectively gambling of that you're putting the money forward and may or may not get something from it.
Well, so what I was going to bring up was their statement.
Still brings in so much money.
Their statement itself said, "We understand how this creates concern about unfair balance in the game and competition." And Ultimate Team doesn't create concern with that already, because you're gambling money for the chance. This is actually, you're buying a card, you know, and I'm not condoning it.
So if anything, it's less.
I'm not itself,
because you know what you're getting.
Yeah, at least you're knowing what you're getting. I'm not condoning it in the slightest. I think it's an absurd amount of money, like $750 to $1,000 for like a set of cards for a game that will be irrelevant in like 6 months is a joke. But the amount of money that EA asks, like, you could spend that and not get one card that's good with EA. It's unlikely. You're probably going to get something, but it's ridiculous.
So if you are someone who puts a lot of time into it and would put the money in anyway, it probably makes sense for them to have done it, to buy them that way.
Yeah. Well, actually, so that's a crazy situation. I don't think we know much else. I think the investigation's still ongoing. Nothing's been said on Twitter as far as I can see. If we see anything next week, we will bring it up. The other thing I've got here is that the Xbox and Bethesda deal has finally been fully confirmed, fully completed. That was Microsoft buying out ZeniMax Studios and all of their subsidiaries, so Bethesda and everything, Arcane Studios, all of that stuff. And 20 of their games will be on the Xbox Game Pass going forward. 20 more because there were already some games on there. So these include Dishonored, Dishonored 2, Doom, Doom 2, Doom 64, Doom 3, and Doom Eternal. I don't know why Doom 2016 is not there. Maybe it's already on there. I'm not sure. Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Prey, Rage 2, Morrowind, Oblivion. They're both Elder Scrolls games, if you didn't know. Elder Scrolls Skyrim. I think that's Elder Scrolls Online as well. The Evil Within, Wolfenstein Old Blood, and Wolfenstein Youngblood. So yeah, those will all be on the console. It's not yet been confirmed if games from the studios will be Xbox exclusives. Well, they won't be Xbox exclusives anyway because they will be on PC.
Well, they've said that they are working on some exclusives. I did see that.
Well, I also
is because they may not be the main titles. Obviously, they could be smaller games that they work on, but they did say they were working on some exclusives, but no info on what games there would be.
Well, I've seen Phil Spencer, who's the head of Xbox. I believe it's Phil Spencer. I saw him say that Xbox themselves and Microsoft wouldn't be focusing on the exclusive types of games because they don't do that really anymore. They kind of, with the whole, like, you can play them on PC and stuff, they never really do it anymore anyway. But they're more into timed exclusives or, like, games getting more content being on their systems, like Call of Duty used to do, but now does for PlayStation, since that whole switch over. So yeah, but I did also see a report that the next Elder Scrolls and Starfield, which is their new game, would not would, but they may be Xbox exclusives, and I highly doubt that report is true because if you're alienating half of your, not to say like people don't have PCs or stuff or have Xbox, but a large group of people have Fallout, have Elder Scrolls, all of these games. They've been playing them on PlayStation, so you're going to alienate a lot of people, and at the end, it's just probably going to just lose money. And considering Xbox and Microsoft have both, Xbox and Bethesda, have both come out and said in the past that while they may do some exclusives, some of the big titles will probably stay as cross-branded, cross-console, cross-platform titles. So we'll see where that goes. There's nothing confirmed or denied at the moment, but it's crazy. As someone who's a big fan of Bethesda, or was a big fan, I hope they can reach the heights that they used to. But and someone who's got a PlayStation, I hope they don't do I hope they keep cross-platform. I hope we get to a point where we don't need exclusives for consoles. Like, I'd prefer if everyone got to play stuff like Uncharted and God of War and stuff like that. But until that day, we can't complain either way. But I hope they do keep them cross-platform. So yeah, that is all of the gaming news. I don't really have anything else other than our main topic, except one thing, but I'm going to let you go on to it. So yeah, we'll move on to movies.
As we previously mentioned, we have the release of the Zack Snyder cut for Justice League, and we did basically question when the UK would get it, as we didn't know. It's just being released on HBO Max. but we do now know that it's coming to Sky Cinema and Now TV. So you will be able to watch it in the UK, but
March
you will have to
18th,
pay for it.
so in a week's time.
Yes, right. So either I should imagine it'll be to buy or rent on Sky Cinema. I can't imagine them just releasing it on there for free, and
No,
then
we don't get nice
or
things. Sure.
buying it through Now TV. So I can see why, because obviously it's going to make them a lot of money by charging people for it, not just showing out for free. But at least there is an option there for people in the UK to watch.
I get why they do it, because Warner Brothers have a deal with Sky, but out of all of the streaming services and everything, it's annoying that it's gone there and not somewhere like Amazon or Netflix or something, which is where you, like, if stuff like this happens, we usually get it on like Amazon or something like that. But yeah, it's happened with a lot of movies like Wonder Woman 84 and Birds of Prey. They were both aired on Sky Cinema, I believe. Still haven't seen either of them. I think Birds of Prey was in theaters though, because it came out before COVID. But yeah. That if you're a fan of DC Comics, or if you're interested in this, it looks especially interesting, especially for me, a big fan, and I want to see them do well. And this movie looks like it's going to get on the right track. It's Zack Snyder's true vision. We've talked about it before. Don't really need to go into more detail, but yeah, comes out March 18th. Sky Cinema and Now TV in the UK. I have no idea internationally, but US is HBO Max. So if you have any of these in your country, they'll be there. If you don't, look at your local providers, see what they have. But yeah, I think it's time for the big question, Sean, or the big discussion, which is WandaVision.
Would you shag White Vision?
Would I shag White Vision? If he talked to me,
that's the question.
if he talked to me like Wanda's vision talk to him, then yeah, I want to know about the Theseus, whatever whatever thing it was, the ship, yeah, the Ark, whatever it was,
Ship of Theseus,
yeah. But how did you enjoy the actual show altogether?
So the series as a whole, I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I will say, I think there was too much build up too much of a build up to story ratio. Obviously they went for the first 3 episodes of going through the different ages of TV, and yeah, I just feel like we had like so many episodes of that where not really much happened. It was just, oh, this is this little world, and then like the last 2 episodes, you got a load of story of, okay, we have the reveal of Agatha Harkness. We obviously have the reveal of White Vision. And yeah, for me, it was just very condensed into the end, where I think they could have done more with that bit of story. I think either make the series longer so you have that bit of story, keep the bit at the beginning, or not have, or just, I think, build it a bit more in those earlier ones.
All right. Me personally, I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed everything, really. I kind of disagree on the first few episodes, simply because I know they were very short, like compared to a lot of the later ones. Like each episode got longer and longer, and I liked the sort of subtle hints, like in the first episode with the whole stop it thing while I forgot his name was choking in the dinner, and like there were little subtle moments. The whole thing with Monica Rambeau in episode 3, like where you could kind of see, all of this, something was about to happen. The stuff with the radio in episode 2 with Jimmy Woo trying to get through, that was cool. I liked the side characters. I like Monica Rambeau now being like this super powered person, something that will probably be touched upon in Captain Marvel 2, because she will be in that. This was a lot of setup for Doctor Strange 2, and there's stuff with White Vision. White Vision is now back. which is normal vision, but whitewashing our characters. How dare they? But no,
racism at its finest.
There was a white vision in the comics which plays out like this, similar to this. But yeah, it's interesting. He's out there. It's a bit weird that they didn't have like them sort of come together at the end, but I guess they're going to save it for a movie. So they expect people to watch WandaVision, which is fair enough. I feel if that's the way they're going for this, I really like that. It's something they should have done a long time ago with like the Netflix Marvel shows, and with Agents of Shield. Like they were doing it with Agents of Shield, but they just threw it out the window like the last few seasons, and then basically were like, yeah, it might be canon, it might not be. But I think WandaVision proved that Agents of Shield wasn't canon, because the Darkhold is a major part of Agents of Shield. If you haven't seen it, or anyone hasn't seen it, season I think 4 of Agents of Shield had a Ghost Rider in it, and near the end or like mid-season, Ghost Rider took the Darkhold away with him, and like, I think it was seen again in Cloak and Dagger, but I've never seen Cloak and Dagger itself. But then they brought it back here, and the book looks different, and unless it's another version of the Darkhold, then it sort of confirms that Agents of Shield is no more, which is a real shame. I feel like they've got so much good stuff. Like Daredevil especially was so good at parts, while all the Netflix shows were a bit had bad seasons or stuff like that. They had so much they could build on. Daredevil would have fit perfectly into, say, like Civil War, or as an introduction into Spider-Man, because they have a lot of history. And with Kingpin and stuff as well. If Kingpin was back, Vincent D'Onofrio was really good. But they just threw it away. So I'm really glad that Disney are taking the approach of, okay, now what? Now our TV shows matter. Everything going forwards matters. It's a bit late, but it's good to see that, and I hope. Oh, I shut my camera a lot. I hope we get more of this, like more tie-ins, more continuations of stories. Falcon and the Winter Soldier's coming out in a few weeks. In a week, I don't know. It might be the 18th as well. It might be the same day as Justice League.
No.
Is it not?
No. This week we have a behind-the-scenes episode of like how they made WandaVision. The following week we get Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay,
I believe.
Right.
I'm sure I'm correct.
I'm going to quickly look it up, but
I was just doing it now.
Okay. 19th of March, so it's the day after.
Oh, apologies.
Yeah,
I could have sworn they left the week, but okay.
But as a whole, like I said, really enjoyed it. It's one of my. I honestly want to put it up there as one of my favorite things Marvel has done within the MCU canon. Because we said it before, a lot of the Marvel movies are quite formulaic, as much as people don't like the word. But that's not for everything. Sometimes they just got terrible villains, sometimes they got this, that. I think everything was handled well, and the only issue I had with it is that I wanted more. I wanted the series to continue. I wanted more from Agatha. I wanted to see her more. And there's nothing saying she won't come back. There's a reason. I'm really glad they didn't kill her off. Because
I think there's a reason they didn't kill her.
Yeah, because Marvel
they definitely could have.
Marvel have a bad history of killing off their villains, like immediately, which has ruined a lot of movies for me. I disliked Black Panther quite a bit because the ending had them kill off Killmonger. I thought it was such a waste, and they killed Claw in the movie as well. Like, it happens with a lot of the movies, and the only time they haven't really done it is with Thanos and maybe a cut on Loki, which have turned out to be the better villains. So I hate when you've got like 25 movies, and in like 20 of them the villains have died. You need this sort of, you need the potential of them coming back, and the fact that they've done that with Agatha is a good thing. Comic book Agatha, I believe, isn't a bad guy, or was sort of an anti-hero, and they could still go that route. Like she has a history with the Fantastic Four, I believe, which they have had hints to in WandaVision, with the whole Monica Rambeau saying, "Oh, I know this engineer who can build this thing," and we never get to know who this engineer is. That could kind of be a lead in. I think we might see a bit more in Captain Marvel 2, which will lead into Fantastic Four. But yeah, like, I feel like I've gone on a big rant about stuff. Not a bad rant, but you know, it's a show that sets up a lot of things while also being its own contained thing. And a lot of people didn't like the whole Quicksilver thing. They liked it, but they didn't like the reveal. The whole because it was X-Men's Quicksilver. What's his name? Oh no,
Evan Peters.
Evan Peters. Yeah, that's the one. Instead of Aaron, I've forgotten all their names. Aaron Lee Johnson, is it Johnson? But like it could still lead to things, which is like they didn't. I know Marvel have said themselves that, like, while it was a boner joke, you know, it wasn't intended to be funny. It was intended to just be a sort of, you know, just leave things there, and maybe there's a few things they don't answer. Like, I think Jimmy Woo was there because they had someone in witness protection. I think they announced that like on episode 4, when they were doing all the what is Sword doing here stuff. Like Jimmy Woo was in someone was in witness protection, and Jimmy Woo was there to investigate that. We never got who was in witness protection. That wasn't revealed, and I feel like there's a lot of little things like that that could lead into things, but at the same time, I'm like, well, where are they going to do that? You know, are they going to do it in another show? Are all these shows going to be linked in some way? Is it going to be in a movie, or are they just going to forget about all this stuff? Because there's a lot of stuff they set up that could come into. It would have been nice to have known who was in witness protection there, because then that would kill all this, you know, rumor and innuendo. But yeah, I'm excited if the level of quality that was in WandaVision is repeated in the other shows. I'm excited to see what Marvel do going forward. And they have.
I was going to say this sets a good precedent on what it looks like they're going to be creating in the future of a high standard. So hopefully they'll be able to match it and keep up to it.
Yeah.
They don't. That'll be sad, but
it's like the Netflix shows. Promising. The Netflix shows were good to a certain extent, but they had terrible moments, terrible seasons sometimes. Controversially, like, I hated Jessica Jones season 2. I haven't seen season 3, so I can't really comment there. But I thought season 2 was terrible. Thought the Defenders was lackluster. So like that had their flaws, and like all I want is consistency from Marvel shows. Even if it's like it starts out how WandaVision done and goes in different directions, which it will do. No show on that's coming out is going to be the same, which is nice. But I don't want that to be, just because this show's more action orientated, we just focus on the action. I still want story. I still want developments. I still want more. You know, I want it to lead to something, which is what they should be using these shows for. WandaVision's leading to Doctor Strange and whatever else they're going to do with Vision or whatever. I want Winter Soldier to lead to like something else. I don't know, like maybe a movie for them, or maybe setting up a villain or something. I want them to do something with it, or else it just feels disconnected. You know, because I don't want it to be like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where they had all these connections and then they just acted like these connections didn't exist later on. You know, I don't want them to give up on it. And if they are going to give up on it, they shouldn't have done this in the first place. They should have done what DC were doing, where they have all these mini universes for their TV shows, and they sometimes bring them together, or they don't. It's up to them. But yeah, WandaVision itself, excellent. Looking forward to what they do next.
So I think it was good. Just wanted more from it. It's sad that we're not going to get another season of it. So they aren't. Obviously, it'd be difficult to do another season of it, I think, because
Oh yeah, I agree.
what do you really do? Because the whole like premise of the show was to do with the Hex and her like almost like downfall after the death of Vision. So you can understand why this is a one-time season, but
I'd
it
like
is
to
also a bit
see
sad at the same time that it is going to be a one-time season.
after Doctor Strange 2, I'd like to see a Scarlet Witch and or Vision movie. Like, I feel like that would be an interesting way. Like, have Doctor Strange, have her do what she needs, have the multiverse open up. Maybe at the end, have White Vision come like post credit scene or something, and set up something for them. Because I feel like they have a lot of background characters that they don't do much with, and maybe they're starting to do it. Like with the Hawkeye show, it's been long overdue. Black Widow's still not out yet, and I'm gonna give Disney and Marvel a bit of a criticism here over Black Widow too, in the fact that they've said they're gonna bring it out in theaters, and they said it's not coming out on anything else. They're basically refusing to put it out on not HBO, on Disney Plus or whatever, even for a fee, which I think is ridiculous, especially for like us, because they'll bring it out in the UK, even though theaters are closed. They won't care. Like movies have done that. I think, oh, was it Tenet that did that? Was it Tenet? I don't. There was a movie recently.
Tenet came out, but at the time things were open. It was obviously reduced numbers, but it did definitely affect the gross takings from the film, because a lot of people didn't go because they didn't feel safe to go.
I know.
And I think that's just what they want to try to avoid.
I know what it was. Wonder Woman came out in theaters in the UK a week before the US, but all our theaters were shut. So it was like, what theaters have you brought it out in? It was like a select couple theaters, and then it later I think came out in Sky Cinema. But you're just like, why did you not do that in the first place? Like, it's a bit ridiculous. We're not only are we mid-pandemic, the UK was mid-lockdown during the time, and we're still in lockdown now. So, yeah, what can you say about it? It's just these companies.
This might actually harm them as well, because it's taking so long for this film to come out that obviously either by the time it comes out, people won't care as much and won't bother going to see it because they'd have forgotten about it, or because they've waited so long that it will then have a worse reception than it would, because it's built up, like the anticipation for the film is built up, that people are expecting it to be good, and then if it's not really high standard, they'll go, well, this was a waste of time waiting for it.
It's a year overdue. It's really a year overdue, and they should have just given in and put it on Disney Plus. But anyway, this has turned into a massive Marvel rant, mainly from me. I apologize, but it's good for time. It's good for time. But yeah, I have nothing else to say. Have you got anything to say? No.
I think we've covered everything.
Looking forward to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But in terms of our content, we will be doing the podcast every week, like usual. So check us out YouTube already. If you're on here now, might as well subscribe, like. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, mainly Twitter because that's the one we're most active on. Give us a comment, give us a whatever, tweet us if you want to see something in particular, because that will push us to do more content. If you want to see a certain topic talked about, we might even do a separate video on it if we have the time. We just need to know. I know Sean will be busy in a few weeks' time, so we'll try and fit the podcast in where we can, but that's behind the scenes content. But for now, yep, like I said, follow us. We'll see you soon.